So welcome to Model 4, where we talk about compliance. Compliance is the bedrock of being able to raise from the public. The intermediary is required to make sure that the business seeking to raise is compliant. So before you raise, you would provide about 5 key categories of compliance requirements. The first starts with the directors. You, the directors, must make sure that you are compliant by signing a fit and proper document that simply is saying you have no problem or no issue or anything that may cause practical challenges in raising capital with the regulator or with the capital market or with the Bank of Ghana or with any required regulatory authority. The fit and proper document basically says you are okay as a director to do this and to run this business, and you have nothing that impedes you legally speaking. So it's basically a self-declaration document. So once that's out, you have now 4 other categories of compliance you should look at. We look at the business compliance. Is your business duly registered? You have the shareholder agreements. You have everything that is required as a business to be functioning. You have the incorporation certificates that you provided at the beginning of the application. Do you have the commencement certificate? You have the Form 4, the Form 3, and 5. Particularly your company profile. Does it talk about the entire company, and does it clearly reveal those behind it? So you want to make sure you have a company profile document, or your Form 3 just describes everything about your business uploaded, and that's for the company compliance. Then you have regulatory compliance. Your regulatory compliance are compliance that talk about the needed licenses for you to operate. So for example, if there's a fintech that wants to raise capital from the public to finance, do you have a valid fintech license? If your school wants to raise capital from the public to scale, you have Ghana Education Service license. If you're a manufacturing company and you want to raise capital from the public, do you have the Ghana Standard Board license? Or if it's a food company, an FDA license? These are the regulatory requirements. Then you, in addition to regulatory requirements, you have the statutory requirements. So these are statutory things you need to do. Do you file your PAY? Do you file your SNIT? Do you do your CIT? Do you do VAT if you're registered for that? These things must be done. Does it mean that if you don't have them yet, complete can't raise? No, you must have started the process with evidence of starting the process to be able to raise. So for example, if you're raising capital to get the license to run a fintech, that must be clear that the purpose of this fund is to raise capital to be able to pay for licenses to operate a fintech. In such cases, you can apply because clearly you are in the process to getting that. Now, beyond the regulatory compliance, then you have what the statutory requirements, which is what we've spoken about. That includes your PAY, your SNIT, your CIT, and your VAT if you are registered. Then you have, most importantly, your legal compliance, which the legal compliance looks at all these things in detail into them and make sure that these things are actually legally compliant and they are in order from what they have observed from the legal perspective. And this is very key. Legal compliance forms the basis of review all these information you provided and saying that this company is legally compliant. That is a very critical step in the process. And once again, the intermediary is to make sure that you're a legally compliant company before you raise on your platform. So make sure that from day one, you run your business to be compliant. Make sure all your taxes, all your filings are done on time, and you have the evidences there to enable the entire legal process to be very simple and very smooth. So in this phase, we talked about all the compliance you need in order to raise from retail investors, and what the regulator requires of the intermediary to do and to observe on your company before you can raise. And it's important to make sure all these things are in place before you successfully raise.